Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me.
Over the course of the campaign, you have said that the system is broken in Jeff City. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of systems that are broken overall here in Missouri right now. I don't think our government is doing a very good job representing the people of the state of Missouri. And I think that you see a whole lot of issues around corruption, where our taxpayer money is going. And I think a lot of that is centered in Jefferson City right now, which is one reason why I think we need a watchdog as our Attorney General.
As an assistant attorney general, you were kind of part of that system at least up until 8 years or so ago. How would you make this better?
Yeah, so I mean, as the assistant attorneys general, we aren't elected, right? That's a position that you have, so you're there, and really you're doing a whole lot of work on behalf of the people as the attorneys who are doing the bulk of the work for that office. So when I was there, we had about 200 or so attorneys who were working there. A lot fewer right now. I think one of the big problems that we see at the Attorney General's office is a lack of staffing and poor management, honestly, which is a reason why we're not seeing a lot of the same services we used to receive then. But I've definitely proposed some reforms even from the time when I was there. I think we need a public corruption unit at the Attorney General's office focused on making sure taxpayer money goes where it's supposed to. I think we need a civil rights division to prevent government abuses of all of our civil liberties. I think that we need to go after puppy mills quite a bit more. We need to go after scam callers. There's a lot of things that office should be doing that unfortunately we're not doing much of right now.
You mentioned civil rights work, and that is part of your background after leaving the AG's office in 2016. Right. How does that translate to becoming Attorney General in Missouri?
Yeah, so a lot of my practice right now, so I have my own law firm. It's very small, and we focus on civil rights issues and protecting workers on the job, as well as the Sunshine Law, which allows you and I to see what our government is doing, public records and everything else. So all of those issues, those should be dealt with by our Attorney General. The Attorney General is supposed to enforce the Sunshine Law. The Attorney General has the power to uphold our civil liberties in court. So a lot of the work that I have done translates immediately over to the Attorney General's office. And unfortunately, there are some folks who turn to me when our Attorney General isn't doing his job to enforce some of those laws right now.
Let's talk a little bit about your opponent for a second. There's been a noticeable push that we've seen by the current Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, to get involved in national political issues. And we've asked him about this before. He claims that court cases involving former President Trump, for example, affect Missourians. What's your take on that? I guess my question is, what would be your focus as AG?
Yeah, my focus would be on the people of the state of Missouri. We are dealing with so many problems here. I mean, look at just the cost of living right now in Missouri when you're talking about rent that's going up for a lot of folks, the cost of food that's going up. We have captured markets where these huge corporations, especially in rural Missouri right now, are the only gig in town, like a Dollar General or something else. And we're seeing price gouging in some of those stores too. I think that we need a real focus on the issues that are affecting Missourians. And unfortunately, a lot of Missourians don't even know who our Attorney General is right now. And it is a big red flag if you don't know the name of your attorney or what your attorney is doing for you. So now I would certainly be focused on solving Missouri problems with Missouri money.
What's the biggest Missouri problem?
Oh, man. Well, you know, the number one complaint that comes to that office every single year are scam calls. And we have record numbers of amounts of money that is being scammed away from seniors, especially right now. But there's a whole lot of issues. I mean, we're not dealing with drinking water problems right now. We're seeing a lot of environmental conservation impacts. But I think the basic fundamental issue is we do not have a government that is working for the people of Missouri. And so that's why I think a public corruption unit is so important at that office.
We've talked a lot about public corruption in the news, especially, and gun violence as well.
Yes.
In Kansas City, St. Louis, but across the state. Centered more on urban areas just because of the larger population.
Right.
How would you tackle that as Attorney General?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm the only one who's got a comprehensive plan to deal with gun violence generally in Missouri, and it doesn't require a whole bunch of new laws or the legislature to get their act together on any of these things. Right now, in states and areas really all around the world that have dealt with violence and reduced it have done two things. One is you make sure that folks who are committing violent crime are being prosecuted, and the Attorney General's office can work with prosecutors' offices, including in Kansas City, in St. Louis, and Cape Girardeau right now too, Springfield, to make sure that they have the resources they need. Folks have expectations, and when you do something like that, folks know that you will be punished for it. We have to remove those folks from the streets to keep everyone safe. But the other side of that is once someone is shot or killed, you're not bringing that person back. You have a broken community as a result of that, and we need to do as much as we can to prevent violence from happening in the first place, and that requires significant investment in our communities, and the Attorney General should be the coordinating mechanism for this in our state. So I have a pretty detailed plan on that issue.
It is hard to separate gun owners from the gun violence issue, especially because they think that the government might be trying to take their guns away. How do you walk that line as Attorney General?
I've got guns. I don't need to take yours away. All right. So that's not what the deal is here. It's not about violating people's Second Amendment rights. It's about making sure that folks, especially folks who should not have guns, aren't able to get them. And a lot of folks are. I mean, I've worked with kids for a long time. I know 14-year-olds who are able to buy guns on the street. That should not be happening in Missouri. And because we're not tackling those guns that are illegally possessed or illegally being transferred, we're not dealing with that issue at all. And most of violent crime in Missouri and elsewhere is committed by very few people. And if we're not targeting, if we're not making sure that we're dealing with this issue the way that everywhere else is done with it, and done in a successful way, I don't know what the heck we're doing here in Missouri. So there's a lot of smart policies on that issue for sure.
We've saw the challenging of the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Missouri, which local police departments were worried about carrying out the law, basically.
Yeah.
How would you treat similar laws like that?
Yeah, it's a stupid law. Look, it's unconstitutional. It was unconstitutional when it started with. We're wasting money on it right now. The Attorney General is defending the so-called Second Amendment Preservation Act. That law, and you can read it right now, that law defunds police departments that work with federal agents to deal with violent crime. So if you want to talk about a crime plan, that is not a crime plan. That is a pro-crime plan. So no, certainly I wouldn't be defending unconstitutional laws. And I think we need an Attorney General who is holding town halls around the state, so you know what your Attorney General is doing, but someone who's also working with the legislature to make sure they know when they're passing something stupid like that, that's going to hurt Missourians, it's going to waste our taxpayer money, and it is not helping us at all. It's actually making the violent crime problem in Missouri a lot worse.
How do you work with the legislature? You're a Democrat.
Yeah.
The legislature's majority Republican most of the time historically. How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, I mean, well, right now I guess it's been super majority Republican, but look, I work with folks there right now. I've worked with Republicans quite a bit. I've worked with Democrats quite a bit. I've worked with people who don't care about party, and I might be one of those anyway. But look, I don't think that there's a lot of partisan issues I don't think the Attorney General's office should be a partisan office. I think we should be hiring the best attorney for the job, the one who's going to represent us best. And no, I have no problems working with folks in government. I think that there's great folks in both parties who are doing that. You know, obviously I'm running as a Democrat, and I think it's important for the Democratic Party in Missouri to get back to doing what it used to do, and that's representing working families, making sure that they are represented in our government, and that's what I intend to do.
Kind of leads to my next question. You have an uphill battle historically, right? Missourians haven't elected a Democrat to this post since 2012. What makes you the contender who's going to break that streak?
Yeah, I mean, well, right now, look, I've got this little dog named Liberty Bell. She's way more popular than me. She gets me invited to Trump events all the time. And we were just actually over in Trump headquarters in Warsaw, Missouri. We got votes from that. So our plan is we are traveling all over the state. We are talking to everyone. We're showing them that this is what good government can look like. Don't forget what it can look like. And there was a time when everything was Democrat in Missouri, and there was a young guy who was running for Attorney General when the system was corrupt, and he said, look, I can fix this. Here's what we can do. His name was Jack Danforth, and he was the one person to flip that off. That was the office that flipped first. So I think we can do it. We just need the people of Missouri to really see that here's what we're offering, and here's how that office can run if it actually works for us.
I do want to ask you about one of the ballot initiatives that's on the ballot, and that is Amendment 3, which would reverse, if passed, the state's near total abortion ban. There are bound to be challenges post November 5th. That's just kind of the nature of this issue in Missouri.
Correct.
What would you do as Attorney General to protect the will of the people if this is approved?
I will defend it. And that's what is so important for folks to understand. Amendment 3 is going to put reproductive freedom into the state constitution. What it's going to do is it's going to say government Big government cannot get involved in family issues to the degree that it is right now, right? And that's going to be up to a judge and courts, a lot of challenges. But we need an attorney general who's going to defend that right. And right now, we've got an attorney general who has done everything under the sun to try to thwart what the people want to do, including trying to stop people in Missouri from voting and accessing our constitutional right to put issues on the ballot. And I think that's totally wrong. That is not the role of the Attorney General. Whether you agree or disagree with issues, if people are collecting signatures, they want an issue to be voted on, that is their right, and I will certainly uphold that, and I will uphold Amendment 3 when it's passed.
If it doesn't pass, conversely, what would you do as an Attorney General? Because it's an existing law, and you have to defend the state laws.
That's a really good point. And I think, look, I mean, the Attorney General, in my view, you're bound by the laws that are passed. I mean, our current Attorney General doesn't seem to agree with that, but there's a separation of powers for a reason there. I think advocacy is still really important from that office. And look, we have such an extreme abortion ban in Missouri. We are putting people in danger. Even President Donald Trump disagrees with it. So I think it's something that certainly we need to revisit no matter what. But I feel very confident, given how many folks I've talked to, that Amendment 3 will be going into the state constitution.
We'll leave it there for today. La Grosse, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the time.